Hello, Jack from Sonic Classics here. You may remember the wonderful Daimler D16. It's come back to us for a few odd jobs, and I'm here today to meet my old man to see what he reckons of the Daimler. Check it out. Right, you old fart.
That's enough of that.
This is
I'm
my
just
father.
going to change hats.
This is my old man. How old are you now?
Older than you. And younger than that thing over there.
So he's old school, and he's come here today to tell us his verdict on the D16. So for those of you who don't know, I was brought up tinkering on this car, driving vintage cars, so I've got this in my DNA, but I am still a petrol head, and obviously so is my dad.
I'm a skeptic when it comes to electric conversions because I'm that generation.
So we're going to get an honest review of what he thinks of the Daimler.
Am I allowed to be rude?
Yes, you're allowed to be rude. Yeah.
Well, to me, it looks like a 1923 Daimler still, which is good news, I suppose.
Yeah.
Let's just walk around it. I want to have a look side and the back. Wrong period mirrors, giveaway.
So we actually fitted these. Lysander made these nice brackets. I think they're fine.
What's that thing underneath?
So that's the electric step. So there's a fob, actually it's back at the workshop. You push the button, it comes out. So
I'll be able to get in it.
So for your old knees,
I'll be able to get in it.
Laughing.
I don't like that. No, I'm just trying to think what where the telltale signs of it being electric are.
So the fuel tank in the
It
rear.
looks more or less the same. The back,
Yep.
There's no exhaust pipe, obviously. I'll tell you one thing I do notice, there's no oil leaks underneath it, which is pretty amazing. Do I like it? I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful car anyway. It's debatable whether you've spoilt it, but if it means that it can be used every day, it's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? And as long, Jack, have you made it so it could be converted back?
Yes, so the whole conversion is bolt into the existing mount.
Yeah.
Everything's bolt on.
As I understand, it used to have a sleeve valve engine, didn't it?
Yeah. Which I actually drove, and I really struggled with driving it. It was really, really hard. I've driven that Lagonda, and I have no issues with it.
Well, that's got a pre-selector.
Pre-selected gearbox, throttle, centre throttle. That is, I would never convert that car. It's beautiful.
I'm very pleased to hear that.
But this is a different kettle of fish. It's not really drivable, and if it is drivable, it's very super stressful.
But apparently it is now.
Yeah.
Let's have a look under here. Oh yeah.
So,
it's functional.
A couple of things. We've got power steering. This is another add-on. The client requested power steering. That was not an easy job to do power steering with a box-style steering setup. Was it the space, everything? The challenge of that.
Does that work well?
It works beautifully, but nobody knows the challenges that was.
I can imagine.
Very, very difficult.
The whole thing is a challenge.
Yeah.
And so, have you messed around with the chassis at all?
No. So
it looks as though you've made another subframe.
Yes, exactly.
Which in fact stiffens the chassis up a bit.
So the battery box sits on the original engine mount, and then underneath that there's a subframe which houses the steering box, which used to bolt onto the engine.
What I like is still got the radiator, and honestly, you wouldn't really know.
No.
And if it means the car's going to be seen out rather than stuck in a museum, maybe it's a good thing.
So the lady who we did it for, she drives it every day. She loves it. And
I can well believe it.
It's much more interesting than any boring modern car.
Yeah.
So,
yes. And how have you got over, because as I understand, these have only got two-wheel brakes, so what are the brakes like now?
Good question. So that's why it's back. So for some reason, in the 1920s, they decided to put brakes on the rear, not on the front. Don't ask me why, I have no idea why.
Well, that's before they had no brakes at all.
So
The emergency
basically, the brakes
stopping
are
device.
great. They lock up if you give it quite a lot of pedal, which is actually so we can't really improve on that. Fitting brakes on the front would be a huge amount of engineering. So what we've done is we've fitted a sensor on the brake pedal. So when you apply the brake pedal, the electric motor applies 100% regen.
Regen.
So basically, it's particularly.
And does that help with the range?
Yeah, helps with the range. We haven't got off total regen because it didn't really work very well in this application. There's quite a bit of backlash in the gearbox, and it creates this undulating. It's not very nice.
Sort of shunting feel?
Yeah, it's not very nice. So we've only got regen on braking,
Okay.
and it's working really, really well. And it's actually transformed the brakes. It really slows the car down a lot better.
And what sort of performance? I mean, these cars, if you were doing 50 miles an hour, that was pretty fast. I mean,
Yeah, 0 to 60 is about 4.5. No,
I'm disappointed.
it's very, very, it's tame. It's very, tame. It's very.
You've obviously tuned it so that it's not faster
this
than
has actually
the
got the
original
same
car.
motor.
But what about the weight? How much heavier is it?
Good question. It's about the same weight. It's
Is it?
about 40 kilograms heavier.
And the weight distribution's about the same because
Exactly the same, yeah.
Okay.
And we've got the motor that's in this is the same one we use in our Fiat builds, in gyro motor, which it's a small motor, but it's
And inside the cockpit, there was always a centre throttle, wasn't there? And is that still there, or how do you?
so we've got an electronic throttle
in the centre?
In the centre, yeah. So we've got I guess very simple accelerator and brake. You can see them there.
Oh, no, it's on the right, isn't it? So it's back where people expect it to be.
Yeah.
So that's just a footrest.
No, that's the brakes. I remember now.
Well, the brake's on the left then.
You're absolutely right. I remember.
So you've just done this car and you didn't even know where the brake
I
pedal
forgot. Yeah. So we moved.
And you're going to take me out in it, are you?
We moved the brake pedal across.
Okay. As long as you remember that when you take me out.
Yeah.
No, well, the overall impression, it looks a beautiful car.
Yeah.
It's really got style, hasn't it? And it's so nice to see it on the road. That's a good side of it.
Yeah.
And if you tell me it can be converted back, that cheers me up a lot. Whether anybody ever will.
No one will. No. And when you drive it, when you get in it, I don't think you're going to want to convert it back. I think you're going to love it. We'll see. So, without further ado,
So start the engine then. That's it.
that's it.
Gosh, it's so quiet.
Nice, isn't it?
It's like being in a Rolls Royce.
There's one trade-off for pretty crap handling, and it's comfy ride, I find. I mean, it doesn't
Well,
exactly corner the best, but
it's not the kind of car you're going to go belting along in, is it? It feels amazingly smooth. But I feel as though I want to hold on to something. I don't know why. It's like sitting on a blancmange.
So it's funny when things go electric, you can hear. So right
You hear
now,
all the other noises
so
you wouldn't normally
that
hear.
ticking is the speedo drive cable spinning around.
Is the speedo actually connected?
Yeah, it's working.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing 20 miles an hour.
20 miles an hour. Hang on.
Shit.
It's like breaking the sound barrier, isn't it? It's a little...
Brake test. It stops quite well,
That's
doesn't
better
it?
than the brakes would have ever been, but that's the regen, I guess, isn't it?
So up the hill, no bother at all.
Pulls nicely.
Pulls
Look at
really
that.
nicely.
20 miles an hour up the hill. That's amazing. It's like sitting on your sofa at home, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's a little bit of backlash in the transmission, but is that the original transmission?
Yeah, that is original, yeah. But it's not really, that doesn't really bother me.
I'm just amazed that something at this age, it's almost like being in a modern car, but a lot more fun.
Really effortless to drive. Really, I mean, I really enjoy it. The only thing is, you still always get people up your arse.
Have you got somebody up your arse? I can't see with these non-period mirrors. The only mirrors that work for me are pre-war mirrors, and they're not pre-war. That's some grunt, isn't it?
Got some good acceleration. Obviously,
So that's as fast as I really want to go.
so I'm going to turn in here, and then I'm going to make you drive it back.
Right. Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh! It's nice and nice and progressive.
Yeah.
Well, let me just feel the
that.
brakes. Oh yeah, brakes are amazing.
It suits you, old man.
And I have to say, the steering is amazing. This is really
Nice, isn't it?
much easier than I thought. And actually, the steering's fairly precise.
Look, when you're in a car like this, you can do whatever you want. You are now royalty.
I have to say, I'm pretty amazed. It's a lot better than I thought it would be.
So yeah, a lot of people think electric conversions they're all crazy fast. This one is not crazy fast.
No, and it doesn't need to be crazy fast, does it?
No.
I like it.
It's nice, isn't it?
I didn't think I would. My God, it got some get up and go. I reckon it would easily do 40 miles an hour, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I don't think it's safe at that speed.
Thing is,
Because after all, it's virtually it's a carriage, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not really a car at all.
Yeah, exactly. So if you hit bumps at above 40 miles an hour, the car just
All over the place.
it has a mind of its own. Yeah.
And has it got, what kind of shock absorbers has it got?
Shock absorbers. What are those?
Shock absorbers.
It doesn't have any.
No?
I don't think
Not
so.
at all?
No.
Well, I guess it's less dangerous than it was before because it's got brakes now.
It's got brakes.
And it's got quite control. I think the steering is incredible, really. It's so light and it's precise, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to wander all over.
It's delightful, isn't it?
Shall I go fast through the chicane?
Yeah.
Oh no, there's big rocks there. Oh. God, you feel like a royalty.
Another thing to
The
note.
brakes are almost too good, aren't they?
Yeah, low speed.
It's
they're
almost
very
like
good.
over servoed.
Yeah. But they won't lock up.
They don't lock up, no, because
No.
it's regen, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's quite exciting.
Right, here we are, back at the workshop. What do you think?
I think it's very nice.
We need to have a look at the Lagonda because this is a beautiful car.
I've had this car for 60 years and it was bought as a wreck for £12.10 in 1963, and £12.10 is £12.50 in today's money. Okay, this is a 1500cc, should be 1104, but it's bored out for performance. Twin overhead camshaft, so you've got your inlet on one side and your exhaust on the other side, and when you're supercharging you need to get rid of the heat through the engine as quickly as possible. In the cockpit here we've mounted a Volumex supercharger. Amazingly enough, these were fitted to the Lancias of the 1980s, but accepted by the Vintage Sports Car Club because they're a period roots type blower. And behind here is the carburetor, which is under a cover, and the cover comes off with a complete floor, so you can get to everything. It's designed for accessibility. The accelerator is in the middle, where it should be in my opinion, on a pre-war car. The brake pedal's on the right, it's relatively simple to drive because it's a pre-selector, and you can see all the links working here. So with a pre-selector, it's literally that. You select before you engage. And this is the engage pedal, or some people call it the clutch pedal, but it's not actually a clutch. It's a gear change pedal. So if you're in fourth gear, if you look round here, you'll see the quadrant. If you're in fourth gear and you want to overtake somebody, you just select third. And when you're ready to go, you just press the left pedal and it selects third gear and you're in that gear. You never embarrass yourself, not like a crash box, because it's impossible really to crunch the gears. The gearbox are very robust. This gearbox is the smaller Wilson gearbox pre-selector, which is just about up to the power of this car, which is somewhere, I don't know, 90, 100 horsepower. but because it's such a light car and such a narrow car, I always liken it to like a pre-war Lotus 7 that's got lots of performance. It handles beautifully. The steering is 1 1/4 turns from lock to lock, so you can point. It goes exactly where you point it, and it's an absolute joy to drive. And the best thing about it is the soundtrack of the exhaust.
Speaking of joy to drive, should we go on a let's chat? I think we should go for a joyride. Try and keep up. What do you reckon? Conclusion?
Well, I think it's great. I think you've done a fantastic job, and I think we've just got to regard this as being part of the history of this car. You know, it's been modified so that it can be used in modern times, which has got to be a good thing. And if any time it could be converted back, I guess that's good. And at least it's not in the museum; it's out being seen, which is really nice. So yeah, I think full marks. I'm impressed.
I think it suits you as well. It's
me.
even got your name on the steering wheel.
Retard. Love it. I love it.
Anyway, thanks for watching the Daimler drive around with my old man. Hopefully he's going to be featuring in more videos because it's quite good to get an old man's perspective on.
I'm not an old man.
You are an old man. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.